Right now, as you are watching this video, over 40 million Americans are trapped inside their homes. Roads are shut down. Airports have canceled more than 10,000 flights. Over 300,000 homes and businesses have lost power, and the storm is not done yet. This is not a drill. This is the blizzard of 2026. This is Winter Storm Hernando. And right now, it is rewriting history across the entire east coast of the United States. But here is the question you need answered right now. When does this storm hit your area? When does it peak? When does it finally end? And what comes next after all of this is over? Because trust me, what comes after this blizzard is something you absolutely need to know about. And I will tell you everything at the 3-minute and 30-second mark in this video. Stay with me. In the next few minutes, you are going to get a complete breakdown of where this storm stands right now, exact timing for more than 250 cities and towns across America, what is happening to outdoor events all across the country this February, and a look ahead at what the weather pattern is setting up for the rest of the week and into early March. Drop a comment below telling me your city and state, and I will make sure you get the most specific forecast possible for your area. Let us start with the big picture. What are we actually dealing with right now? This storm officially formed on February 22, 2026. A surface low-pressure system developed off the coast of North Carolina with a central pressure of 1,009 millibars. That low then bombed out. That is the technical term, bomb cyclogenesis. And it means the pressure dropped so fast and so hard that this storm essentially exploded into a full-scale nor'easter within hours. Wind gusts from 40 to 70 miles per hour are hammering the coastline. Snowfall rates have reached 2 to 3 inches per hour across New York City, Long Island, and southern New England. In some locations, peak rates hit an almost unbelievable 3 to 4 inches per hour. Here is a number that will stop you cold. 24 inches, that is 2 full feet of snow. That is what Freehold, New Jersey recorded as of Monday morning, February 23, 2026. And more is still falling. Here is another number. 23 inches on Long Island, New York, 20 inches in Exeter, Rhode Island, 19 inches in Seaford, Delaware, 18 inches in Tullytown, Pennsylvania, 15 inches in New York City itself, and the snow is still coming down. Philadelphia has recorded more than 13 inches already, the biggest single-day snowfall that city has seen in 10 years. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani said this before the storm hit, and I want you to hear this clearly. He said some parts of the city could see up to 28 inches. He said, "This is a storm they have not seen in a decade," and he was right. Now let us break this down region by region, city by city, so you know exactly what is happening where you live. Stick with me because I promised you timing, and timing is what I am going to deliver. Starting in the mid-Atlantic, the core of this storm right now, Washington, D.C. saw snow begin Sunday evening, February 22nd, around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Snow intensified overnight and will begin winding down Monday afternoon by roughly 3 p.m. Total snowfall for D.C. is coming in around 8 to 12 inches. Baltimore, Maryland had a very similar timeline. Snow started Sunday evening, peaked overnight between midnight and 6 a.m. Monday, and will taper off by midday Monday. Expect 10 to 14 inches for most of Baltimore proper. Annapolis, Maryland is looking at 10 to 12 inches. Frederick, Maryland in the 12 to 16 inch range. Hagerstown, Maryland closer to 8 to 10 inches. Silver Spring, Maryland 10 to 14 inches. Rockville, Maryland similar numbers at 10 to 14 inches. Gaithersburg, Maryland, 10 to 14 inches. College Park, Maryland, 10 to 14 inches. Moving into Delaware, Wilmington saw snow start Sunday evening. Conditions turned blizzard-like overnight. Wind gusts hit 50 to 60 miles per hour. Snow will continue through late Monday morning with totals in the 14 to 18 inch range. Dover, Delaware, 12 to 16 inches. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, down near the coast, 14 to 18 inches. Seaford, Delaware, as mentioned, already recorded 19 inches. Now New Jersey. This is one of the jackpot zones for this storm. Newark saw snow begin Sunday afternoon, ramp up dramatically by Sunday night, and blizzard conditions through most of Monday. Winds gusting to 65 miles per hour in some spots. Total snowfall for Newark is in the 18 to 22 inch range. Jersey City, New Jersey, same story, 18 to 22 inches. Hoboken, New Jersey. The pictures coming out of there right now are stunning. 18 to 22 inches. Paterson, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Trenton, New Jersey, 14 to 18 inches. Atlantic City, New Jersey, 14 to 18 inches with coastal flooding on top of that. Cape May, New Jersey, 12 to 16 inches with significant beach erosion. Toms River, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Asbury Park, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Edison, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Piscataway, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Freehold, New Jersey, the current record holder with 24 inches confirmed. Now here is something wild. In western and southern parts of New Jersey, rain was still falling as late as 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Then the temperature dropped and that rain turned to snow. Within hours, those same areas were buried. Moving into Pennsylvania. Philadelphia started seeing snow Saturday night into Sunday, had the main event hit Sunday evening through Monday morning. Over 13 inches recorded for the city. That is the biggest single snow event for Philadelphia in 10 years. Pennsylvania was so prepared they had 60,000 tons of salt ready across 5 counties and 170 trucks deployed. Restrictions were put on most major highways, including Interstate 76, Interstate 78, Interstate 81, Interstate 83, Interstate 84, Interstate 95, and the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is on the western side of this system and is looking at much lighter amounts, 3 to 6 inches. Allentown, Pennsylvania, 14 to 18 inches. Reading, Pennsylvania, 12 to 16 inches. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 10 to 14 inches. Scranton, Pennsylvania, 10 to 14 inches. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 8 to 12 inches. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 14 to 18 inches. State College, Pennsylvania, 6 to 10 inches. York, Pennsylvania, 10 to 14 inches. Erie, Pennsylvania, on the western end, 4 to 7 inches. Now let us talk about New York. This is ground zero, New York City. Let me be very specific about timing. Snow began Sunday evening, February 22nd, around 6 p.m. It intensified dramatically after midnight, crossing into Monday morning, February 23rd. The worst conditions, the true blizzard phase with near zero visibility and snowfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour that ran from approximately 1 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday morning. As of early Monday morning, 15 inches had already fallen in the city. Snow will begin to slow down in New York City by approximately dinner time Monday, around 5 to 7 p.m. So if you are in New York City, you are looking at the bulk of this ending Monday evening. This is the first blizzard warning for New York City since March 2017. That is 9 years ago. Let that sink in. Surrounding New York, Long Island has been absolutely hammered. 23 inches recorded already and more falling. Suffolk County on the eastern end of the island could end up with totals near or above 24 inches when all is said and done. Nassau County on the western end, 20 to 24 inches. The snow on Long Island was falling at an almost unreal 3 inches per hour on Monday morning. White Plains, New York, 14 to 18 inches. Yonkers, New York, 16 to 20 inches. Albany, New York, much lighter than the coast, about 4 to 8 inches. Syracuse, New York, separate snow event starting Monday evening into Tuesday. Lake effect will keep things active. Expect an additional 4 to 8 inches on top of any existing snow. Buffalo, New York, largely spared from this particular system, only 2 to 4 inches, but lake effect season continues. Rochester, New York, 4 to 6 inches. Binghamton, New York, 8 to 12 inches. Poughkeepsie, New York, 12 to 16 inches. Newburgh, New York, 12 to 16 inches. Kingston, New York, 10 to 14 inches. Now stay with me because I told you at the start of this video that there is something important coming at the 3-minute and 30-second mark. We are there right now. What comes next? Right now, while the Northeast is buried, the storm pattern that created this blizzard is not finished with the United States. In fact, there are already signals in the models suggesting another winter weather event could impact the Northeast and potentially areas much further south in the first week of March, specifically around March 7th. The European weather model, which is consistently one of the most accurate long-range tools we have, is actually showing a scenario where cold air breaks loose further south than what the American models currently show. We are talking about the possibility of another significant winter event affecting areas from the Ohio Valley through the Mid-Atlantic and potentially down into the Carolinas within the next 10 to 14 days. Now, I cannot give you exact snowfall totals at 10 days out. Nobody can, and anyone who claims otherwise is being dishonest with you. But the signal is real. The cold air is not going anywhere. There is a massive reservoir of Arctic air bottled up to the north, and it is looking for a way to break south. Whether it does and exactly where, that is the multi-million-dollar question. We will be covering it as it develops. Make sure you drop a comment with your city so you are on my radar when I do the next video. Now let us keep moving. We are covering every corner of the country today. Connecticut. New Haven is under a blizzard warning and snow began Sunday evening. Conditions will be severe through Monday afternoon with total snowfall in the 18 to 22-inch range. Hartford, Connecticut, 14 to 18 inches. Bridgeport, Connecticut, right on the coast, 18 to 24 inches. Stamford, Connecticut, 18 to 24 inches. Waterbury, Connecticut, 14 to 18 inches. Danbury, Connecticut, 12 to 16 inches. Norwalk, Connecticut, 18 to 24 inches. Norwich, Connecticut, 14 to 18 inches. Rhode Island. Providence is facing one of its worst storms in years. This is the first blizzard warning for Providence since January 2022. Snow began Sunday evening and will continue through Monday night, with a total accumulation of 20 to 24 inches expected. Exeter, Rhode Island has already recorded 20 inches. Newport, Rhode Island, 18 to 22 inches. Warwick, Rhode Island, 18 to 22 inches. Cranston, Rhode Island, 18 to 22 inches. Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 16 to 20 inches. Massachusetts. Boston is in the thick of it right now. This is the first blizzard warning for Boston since January 2022. Snow began Sunday evening, and in Boston, the storm is expected to continue all the way through midnight Monday, maybe even into the early hours of Tuesday. Total snowfall for Boston Metro could end up in the 16 to 22-inch range. Southeast Massachusetts, the area south and east of Boston, including Brockton, Plymouth, Quincy, and Cape Cod, is getting thunder snow right now, lightning during a snowstorm. That is how intense this thing is. Snowfall rates in southeast Massachusetts have been absolutely off the charts, and total accumulations there could reach 20 to 28 inches. Worcester, Massachusetts, 14 to 18 inches. Springfield, Massachusetts, 8 to 12 inches. Lowell, Massachusetts, 14 to 18 inches. Cambridge, Massachusetts, 16 to 22 inches. Newton, Massachusetts, 16 to 22 inches. Framingham, Massachusetts, 14 to 18 inches. Fall River, Massachusetts, 18 to 24 inches. New Bedford, Massachusetts, 18 to 24 inches. Barnstable on Cape Cod, 20 to 28 inches. Plymouth, Massachusetts, 20 to 28 inches. New Hampshire. Snow will begin to spread into southern New Hampshire through the early afternoon hours of Monday. This is a quick-hitting but significant event. Portsmouth and the coastal communities will see the brunt of it. Manchester, New Hampshire, 10 to 14 inches arriving Monday afternoon. Concord, New Hampshire, 8 to 12 inches. Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 12 to 16 inches. Nashua, New Hampshire, 10 to 14 inches. By the time you wake up Tuesday morning in New Hampshire, the storm will be done. Maine. The story here is still developing in a major way. Blizzard warnings are in effect for the entire coast of Maine all the way up into the downeast areas. Portland, Maine, snow will continue through Monday evening. Total accumulation 14 to 20 inches. Augusta, Maine, 12 to 16 inches. Bangor, Maine, 12 to 16 inches. Bar Harbor and the Downeast communities, this thing is going to crank up over the next 24 to 36 hours. Could see 12 to 18 inches in those areas. The good news for Maine is that by Tuesday morning, the worst of it should be winding down. But between now and Tuesday morning, travel in Maine is extremely dangerous and in many areas essentially impossible. Vermont. Southern Vermont areas like Brattleboro and Bellows Falls will see snow spread in through the early afternoon Monday. Burlington is going to get mostly lighter amounts from this, perhaps 4 to 8 inches, though the mountains will see significantly more. Now let us shift south and talk about a part of this storm that a lot of people are underestimating, the southern Appalachians. Right now, northwest flow snow is hammering the mountains. This is what happens when the powerful counterclockwise circulation around the nor'easter pumps cold northwest winds across the Great Lakes and then forces that moisture up over the Appalachians. The result is persistent, aggressive snow bands that are breaking containment, meaning they are dropping below the higher elevations and bringing accumulating snow into the valleys. Eastern Tennessee around Gatlinburg is getting significant snowfall right now. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is buried. Northern Alabama reported snow overnight. Central Tennessee and eastern Tennessee are seeing snow. Western North Carolina in the mountains is under winter storm warnings. Near the Weaverville area north of Asheville, multiple inches of snow have been reported. The southern Appalachian snow bands are not done yet. Several more inches of snow will continue to fall in these mountains over the next 48 hours. And for West Virginia, another foot of snow is possible in some areas over the next 2 days. Let me be specific about the south and southeast today. Asheville, North Carolina, winter storm warning in effect. Asheville is looking at 4 to 8 inches with additional accumulations possible as those northwest flow bands continue. Boone, North Carolina, up in the high country at over 3,000 feet elevation, could see 10 to 14 inches. Blowing Rock, North Carolina, similar story, 8 to 12 inches. Lenoir, North Carolina, 4 to 6 inches. Hickory, North Carolina, 2 to 4 inches. Charlotte, North Carolina, mostly rain turning to a brief period of snow late Sunday, less than an inch of accumulation. Raleigh, North Carolina. Light snow showers possible tonight, no significant accumulation expected but cannot be completely ruled out. Wilmington, North Carolina, just very cold rain. Greensboro, North Carolina, a dusting to perhaps 1 inch. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, a dusting to 2 inches in the highest spots. Fayetteville, North Carolina, cold rain, no snow accumulation. Knoxville, Tennessee, cold and blustery with some light snow showers today, under an inch. Gatlinburg and Sevierville, Tennessee, 4 to 8 inches today as those northwest flow bands continue. Chattanooga, Tennessee, mostly cold with a chance of light snow showers, less than an inch. Nashville, Tennessee, cold but mostly quiet today. Memphis, Tennessee, quiet today. Huntsville, Alabama, light snow showers possible, less than an inch. Birmingham, Alabama, cold and mostly dry. Mobile, Alabama, cold rain. Atlanta, Georgia, cold but dry today. Savannah, Georgia, cold and windy. Miami, Florida, cold by Florida standards, highs only in the low 60s. Tampa, Florida, highs in the upper 50s. Jacksonville, Florida, highs in the low 50s. A very cold late February day for Florida standards. Now, before I move on to the rest of the country, I want to highlight something that really puts the magnitude of this storm into perspective, because numbers on a page are one thing. But let me paint you a picture of what is actually happening on the ground right now. In Times Square, Manhattan, one of the most famous and busiest intersections on the planet, sanitation workers are buried up to their knees trying to keep pace with snow that is falling faster than any machine can remove it. The New York City Department of Sanitation has 5,000 workers on 12-hour shifts. They started pre-treating roads with salt on February 21st, an entire day before the storm hit. And they are still losing the battle right now. The snow is simply falling too fast. On the Brooklyn Bridge, people were photographed walking across on Monday morning through a complete whiteout, visibility less than a quarter mile, wind gusts over 50 miles per hour howling down the East River. That image is going to be one of the defining photographs of this winter. In New Jersey, some neighborhoods near the shore are completely buried and cut off. The Jersey Shore communities from Sandy Hook all the way down to Cape May are dealing with not just the snow but also coastal flooding. Storm surge from those powerful northeast winds is pushing water into low-lying coastal communities. Significant beach erosion is occurring from Delaware to Cape Cod. This is not just a snow event, it is a coastal disaster event for parts of the eastern seaboard. Think about that the next time someone tells you this is just another nor'easter. There is nothing routine about what is happening right now. At major airports, the situation is catastrophic from a travel standpoint. Newark Liberty International Airport alone has seen close to 1,000 flight cancellations. John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York, same story. LaGuardia Airport closed to all commercial traffic for much of Monday. Logan Airport in Boston is operating at severely reduced capacity. Philadelphia International Airport has seen hundreds of cancellations. In total, over 10,000 flights have been canceled from Sunday through Tuesday across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. If you are trying to get anywhere by air in or out of the Northeast right now, your plans are simply not happening. The advice from every airline and every airport authority is the same. Do not come to the airport, contact your airline, and rebook. On the highways, the situation is just as serious. The New Jersey Turnpike has seen dozens of accidents and multiple vehicle spinouts. Interstate 95 from Washington, D.C., through Baltimore, through Philadelphia, through New York City, through Providence, through Boston, is the most important highway corridor in the entire United States. Right now, it is either completely closed to non-essential traffic or so dangerous that emergency management officials are begging people to stay off of it. The Pennsylvania Turnpike has vehicles restricted. Interstate 84 in Connecticut is a parking lot in some sections. The Massachusetts Turnpike is treacherous. Here is a number that will hit home for anyone who commutes in this part of the country. On a normal Monday morning, Interstate 95 and its parallel highways carry approximately 1 million vehicle trips through the Washington, D.C. to Boston corridor. Today, February 23rd, that number is close to zero. The most heavily traveled transportation corridor in America is essentially empty because of this storm. That is extraordinary. Now let us talk about the economic impact, because when a storm like this hits the most densely populated region of the United States, the financial toll is immense. Preliminary estimates suggest this storm will cause somewhere between $1.5 billion and $3 billion in total economic damage and disruption when you factor in travel cancellations, business closures, property damage, power restoration costs, and emergency response. Those numbers will take weeks to fully calculate, but they give you a sense of just how significant this event truly is. Now, I want to make sure I cover something I promised at the very beginning of this video, which is the outdoor events happening across America in February and how this storm affects them. The most watched outdoor sporting event in February is always the NASCAR Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Cold air from this storm will push into Central Florida this week, making race weekend temperatures significantly cooler than normal. Fans heading to Daytona should pack layers because highs this week will struggle to reach the mid-50s in some areas of Central Florida, which is genuinely unusual for late February. But the race itself should not be threatened by precipitation from this storm. College basketball outdoor venues and stadiums across the Northeast are shut down. Any outdoor sporting event from Washington, D.C. to Boston this week is simply not happening and will not happen until the cleanup process is largely complete, which for some areas could take 3 to 5 days. Skiing and snowboarding. If you love winter sports and you are safely able to travel to the mountains after this storm exits, you are going to find legendary conditions. Killington Resort in Vermont, Stowe Mountain Resort in Vermont, Sunday River Ski Resort in Maine, Sugarloaf Mountain in Maine, Loon Mountain in New Hampshire, Cannon Mountain in New Hampshire, Waterville Valley in New Hampshire, Wachusett Mountain in Massachusetts. Every single one of these world-class ski resorts is going to be absolutely buried in natural powder by the time this storm exits. It may be one of the best powder days the Northeast has seen in several years. And remember, it is still February. The ski season has weeks left to run. Snowmobile trails across Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and New York's Adirondacks are going to be in phenomenal condition once this storm clears. The snow clubs in those areas are going to be very busy grooming trails and getting ready for what could be an epic late-season run of snowmobiling. Ice fishing on lakes across the Northeast was already a popular activity this winter due to the heavy cold air that has been in place. After this storm, ice fishing will resume, though caution is advised because heavy snow on top of ice can actually hide weaknesses in the ice. Always check ice thickness before venturing out. Now, I want to make sure I address the people in the South watching this who might be thinking they are completely off the hook. You are mostly safe from this storm, but you are not completely safe from this winter pattern. Let me explain. The northwest flow snow bands that are hitting the southern Appalachians right now are a direct result of this storm-esque circulation, and they are not done. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, communities in the following areas need to keep their guard up. Southwestern Virginia, including Bristol, Abingdon, and the Lonesome Pine region, eastern Tennessee from Kingsport and Johnson City through Greenville and Newport, far western North Carolina, including Murphy, Andrews, Hayesville, and Robbinsville. Those communities in the Snowbird and Unicoi mountain ranges could see additional accumulations of 4 to 8 inches over the next 24 hours as those northwest flow bands continue to pump moisture up the slopes. For the general public in the South and Southeast, the next weather story to watch is not the current blizzard, but rather that potential early March system that I mentioned. The models are not in agreement yet, but the pattern supports the risk. We will be monitoring this closely and providing updates. Comment below with your city so you are on the list. Now, I want to make sure I address the people in the Midwest because you are next. Right now, there is a little bit of lake effect activity coming off Lake Michigan and delivering some snow into northern Indiana. That will continue through today. Later tonight, a northern stream piece of energy comes down and sets off a band of snow that works through the upper Midwest tomorrow morning into Tuesday afternoon. Let me give you specific cities. Chicago, Illinois. A light snow event possible Monday evening into Tuesday with accumulations of 2 to 4 inches. Look for travel impacts on the Kennedy and Eisenhower expressways Tuesday morning. Indianapolis, Indiana, 1 to 3 inches possible. Detroit, Michigan, 2 to 4 inches from that lake effect plus the northern stream energy. Grand Rapids, Michigan, 4 to 8 inches of lake effect snow. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 3 to 5 inches. Minneapolis, Minnesota, 2 to 4 inches. Duluth, Minnesota, up to 6 inches with lake effect off Lake Superior. Cleveland, Ohio, 3 to 5 inches. Columbus, Ohio, 1 to 3 inches. Cincinnati, Ohio, 1 to 2 inches. Dayton, Ohio, 1 to 3 inches. Toledo, Ohio, 3 to 5 inches. Akron, Ohio, 2 to 4 inches. Youngstown, Ohio, 3 to 6 inches. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, again on the lighter side, 3 to 6 inches. Green Bay, Wisconsin, 4 to 7 inches. Traverse City, Michigan, 5 to 9 inches of lake effect. Marquette, Michigan, 6 to 10 inches of lake effect. Flint, Michigan, 2 to 4 inches. Lansing, Michigan, 3 to 5 inches. Ann Arbor, Michigan, 2 to 4 inches. Kalamazoo, Michigan, 3 to 6 inches. South Bend, Indiana, 4 to 7 inches from that Lake Michigan lake effect. Fort Wayne, Indiana, 2 to 4 inches. Louisville, Kentucky, 1 to 3 inches. Lexington, Kentucky, 1 to 2 inches. St. Louis, Missouri, quiet and cold today. Kansas City, Missouri, quiet and cold. Wichita, Kansas, quiet. Omaha, Nebraska, quiet. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, quiet. Fargo, North Dakota, quiet but brutally cold. Now the South Central. Essentially quiet across the South Central United States today. Dallas, Texas, cold and dry. Houston, Texas, cold and dry. San Antonio, Texas, cold and dry. Austin, Texas, cold and dry. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, quiet. Tulsa, Oklahoma, quiet. Little Rock, Arkansas, cold but quiet. New Orleans, Louisiana, cold rain possible. Jackson, Mississippi, cold and dry. Now out west. A new system is moving into the Pacific Northwest right now and will deliver wet, stormy conditions across Washington and Oregon today. That system then slides into Northern California by Tuesday. Here are the details. Seattle, Washington, rain and mountain snow today. Portland, Oregon, rain and wind today. Eugene, Oregon, rain today. Spokane, Washington, 4 to 8 inches of mountain snow at higher elevations. Valleys see rain or light snow. Boise, Idaho, partly cloudy and cold. Salt Lake City, Utah, quiet today, but watching a system for later this week that could bring 6 to 12 inches to the Wasatch Front. Denver, Colorado, quiet and cold, highs in the upper 20s to low 30s. Boulder, Colorado, quiet and cold. Colorado Springs, Colorado, quiet and cold. Albuquerque, New Mexico, quiet and cold. Phoenix, Arizona, mild and pleasant, highs in the upper 60s. Las Vegas, Nevada, cool and quiet. Los Angeles, California, partly cloudy and pleasant, highs in the low 60s. San Francisco, California, cooler than normal with some light rain possible by midweek. Sacramento, California, quiet. San Diego, California, mild and pleasant. Now let me step back and talk about something critically important because the storm you are living through right now does not exist in a vacuum. This is the third major winter event in the United States in 2026 alone. Go back to January 23rd through January 27th, 2026. Winter Storm Fern. That system impacted more than 20 states from New Mexico all the way to Maine. It dropped more than a foot of snow in many locations. Nashville set a new precipitation record. Freezing rain caused the worst ice storm in decades across Tennessee and the broader Mid-South. Over 800,000 customers lost power. Federal disaster declarations were issued for Mississippi and Tennessee. It was one of the most expansive winter storms in years, covering a near 2,000-mile stretch of the country and affecting a population of more than 230 million people. Then on January 31st through February 2nd, 2026, another winter storm hit the southern Appalachians and the Carolinas. And now this, Winter Storm Hernando, the blizzard of 2026. 3 major winter events in barely 4 weeks. This is not normal. This is an exceptionally active and aggressive winter pattern, and based on what the models are showing for the next 2 weeks, it is not over. Here is what you need to understand about the larger weather setup going forward. There is a massive pool of Arctic air locked up to the north of the United States right now. Think of it like a giant reservoir. The atmosphere right now is essentially holding that cold air in place with a ridge of high pressure to the south. But here is the thing, when you have that much cold air to the north, the risk of it breaking south increases the longer you go. The European model is already showing a scenario where that cold air dislodges further south around March 7th, which would potentially set the stage for another significant winter weather event. The pattern right now also favors an active storm track across the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast corridor through the end of February and into early March. The Climate Prediction Center is showing above average temperatures for a large chunk of the south while the northern tier remains below average. That temperature boundary, that battleground zone, is exactly where winter storms develop. And that zone right now runs right across the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. So yes, there could be more to come, and yes, we are going to cover it. Comment below with your city right now. I read every single comment, and I will make sure your area gets specific coverage in the next video. Now, I need to talk about February outdoor events across the country, because there are tens of thousands of people with plans this month that are being directly impacted by this storm. If you had any outdoor plans in the Northeast this weekend, they are done, full stop. The New York City Marathon is in November, so that is safe. But any outdoor festivals, markets, sports events, or activities from the Baltimore-Washington corridor north through Maine, those are completely shut down through Monday and in some cases Tuesday. This is a stay indoors situation. The Daytona 500, one of the biggest outdoor sporting events in February every year, is held at Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Daytona Beach sits in central Florida along the East Coast. This weekend, Daytona is seeing cold but dry conditions. The race this year should not be directly impacted by Winter Storm Hernando, as the storm track is keeping the worst well to the north. However, the cold blast behind this storm will push into central Florida, and race fans should expect temperatures 15 to 20 degrees below what is typical for late February in that area. The Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, traditionally held in New York City, is one of the major February events. If any portion of this is scheduled for Monday, February 23rd, those plans are severely disrupted by this blizzard. The NBA All-Star Game and Weekend, traditionally held in February, draws massive crowds to whatever city hosts it. If your city is anywhere in the blizzard impact zone this year, getting in and out has been extremely difficult due to airport cancellations. Over 10,000 flights have been canceled through Tuesday as a result of this storm. College basketball conference tournaments begin ramping up in late February across the country. If your school is in the Northeast and scheduled for games this week, check directly with the venues because travel impacts will affect teams, referees, and fans. High school winter sports championships in New England, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware are being postponed. Snow days mean no practices, and in some cases, championship events are being rescheduled. Ski resorts throughout New England are actually thriving right now. Stowe in Vermont, Sunday River in Maine, Killington in Vermont, Loon Mountain in New Hampshire, Sugarloaf in Maine, all of these resorts are absolutely buried in natural snow right now. If you are planning a ski trip and can safely get to these mountains after the storm clears Tuesday, you are going to find some of the best snow conditions they have had in years. Now, I want to make sure I cover the regions I have not fully addressed yet. For people in New England watching right now who want to know exactly when this storm ends for you specifically, here it is broken down: New York City, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, Staten Island. Snow begins to slow down by approximately 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday, February 23rd. Total accumulation 18 to 24 inches. Newark, Jersey City, and the rest of northern New Jersey. Snow begins to slow down around the same time, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday. Total accumulation 18 to 24 inches. Long Island, Nassau County, Suffolk County. Snow continues through Monday evening, tapering by 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Total accumulation 20 to 28 inches in some spots. Philadelphia metro area. Snow winds down by midday Monday around 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Total accumulation 12 to 16 inches. Providence, Rhode Island. Snow continues through Monday night. Does not fully clear until close to midnight Monday or even 1 a.m. Tuesday. Total accumulation 18 to 24 inches, Boston metro area and surrounding communities. Snow continues all the way through midnight Monday and possibly into 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. Tuesday. This is one of the last areas in southern New England to see the storm exit. Total accumulation 16 to 22 inches, southeast Massachusetts from Brockton south through Plymouth, Wareham, and Cape Cod. Snow continues through midnight Monday and possibly beyond. This is the area seeing the thunder snow and the most extreme rates. Total accumulation 20 to 28 inches, Portland, Maine. Snow continues through Monday evening and possibly into early Tuesday morning. Total accumulation 14 to 20 inches, Bangor and Down East, Maine. Snow continues through Tuesday morning. This is actually the last part of the U.S. to see this storm exit. Total accumulation 12 to 18 inches, Manchester and Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Snow arrives Monday afternoon, peaks Monday evening, exits by close to midnight, Monday or 1 a.m. Tuesday. Total accumulation 10 to 16 inches, Burlington, Vermont. Lighter snowfall from this event. Snow arrives late Monday and exits early Tuesday. Total accumulation 4 to 8 inches, Hartford, New Haven, Stamford, Connecticut. Snow continues through late Monday afternoon into Monday evening. Total accumulation 16 to 24 inches. Here is the critical safety message that I need every single person watching this video to hear right now. Right now, there are over 300,000 homes and businesses without power across the Northeast. Massachusetts has over 250,000 customers in the dark. New Jersey has over 130,000 without power. The winds gusting to 50, 60, and even 70 miles per hour are toppling trees and snapping power lines. The snow is heavy and wet because temperatures are hovering right around 30 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit, which means this snow is dense, it is packed with water, and it weighs a tremendous amount. A single cubic foot of this wet snow can weigh over 20 pounds. Trees are collapsing under the weight. Power lines are coming down. If you lose power and it is cold outside, do not run a generator inside your home or garage. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills dozens of people every single winter in exactly these situations. Do not use your gas oven or stove to heat your home. If you have elderly family members or neighbors who are home alone and without power, please check on them now, not later. Travel is banned for non-essential vehicles in New York City and New Jersey and several other states right now. That is not a suggestion. That is a law. Emergency vehicles need those roads. Please stay off them. Now let us talk temperatures going forward because this is important for several reasons. In New York City, temperatures are currently sitting right around 30 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit. There is actually a chance the city climbs above 32 degrees before sunset tonight. If that happens, some of that heavy wet snow on top of cars, sidewalks, and roads will begin to melt during the afternoon and then refreeze tonight as temperatures plummet. That means Wednesday morning could feature an extremely dangerous black ice situation across the entire region. Be very careful on Wednesday morning, even after the snow has stopped. In Boston, temperatures will stay colder through the duration of the storm. No melt during the day Monday. Sub-freezing temperatures will persist through Monday night and into Tuesday. Temperatures across the region will struggle to get above freezing in many spots through Wednesday. For the South, even Florida is feeling the cold air behind this system. Temperatures will struggle to get above 50 degrees Fahrenheit in many parts of central and northern Florida today. The Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee will not get above freezing today. Atlanta will be cold with highs only in the upper 30s. Now I want to zoom all the way out and give you the big picture forecast through the end of February and into the first week of March because, as I mentioned earlier, the pattern is absolutely not done. Today through tomorrow, Monday, February 23rd and Tuesday, February 24th. The blizzard continues to wind down across New England from south to north. A new piece of energy moves through the upper Midwest Tuesday, bringing light to moderate snowfall to Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and surrounding areas. The Pacific Northwest sees a new storm system arrive, bringing heavy mountain snow and lowland rain. Wednesday, February 25th through Friday, February 27th. The Northeast begins the recovery process. Temperatures will slowly moderate by the end of the week. The South and Mid-Atlantic will see some sunshine. The active storm track across the North will continue to produce smaller, clipping-type systems across the Great Lakes and New England corridor. Expect 1 to 4 inch snowfall events for cities like Syracuse, Buffalo, Cleveland, and Erie as that lake effect season continues. Out west, the Pacific Northwest storm exits and a brief, quieter period follows. The weekend of February 28th and March 1st. This is critical. The temperature patterns across the country show a very sharp battle line. Below average temperatures to the north, above average temperatures to the south. That is exactly the kind of setup that breeds winter storms. The models right now are not in full agreement on whether an organized storm system develops along that boundary for the March 1st weekend. Some of them are seeing some activity, some of them are not. We will know more by Thursday. But keep your eyes and ears open, because if that cold air from the north decides to push a little further south than currently expected, there is potential for some areas from the Ohio Valley through the Mid-Atlantic to see another winter weather event. March 7th. Put this date on your calendar. The European Model Ensemble is showing a scenario where cold air dislodges further south around this time and produces another significant winter storm somewhere in the central or eastern United States. Now, this is at the outer limits of what I am confident discussing, because at 14 days out, the models have substantial uncertainty. But the cold air reservoir to the north is enormous. It is real. It is not going anywhere. And the pattern between now and then does support the potential for that cold air to eventually find an avenue to the south. We will absolutely be covering this as we get closer. Now let me give you detailed forecasts for major cities we have not specifically covered yet. In the Mid-South and Upper South over the next 48 hours. Louisville, Kentucky, 1 to 3 inches Monday night into Tuesday. Lexington, Kentucky, 1 to 2 inches. Bowling Green, Kentucky, 1 to 2 inches. Paducah, Kentucky, under an inch. Evansville, Indiana, 1 to 3 inches. Terre Haute, Indiana, 1 to 3 inches. Bloomington, Indiana, 1 to 3 inches. Lafayette, Indiana, 2 to 4 inches. Fort Wayne, Indiana, 2 to 4 inches from that lake effect. Muncie, Indiana, 2 to 4 inches in the mid-Atlantic suburbs and smaller communities. Fredericksburg, Virginia, 6 to 10 inches. Richmond, Virginia, 4 to 8 inches. Norfolk, Virginia, 4 to 6 inches with coastal flooding concerns. Hampton Roads area, 4 to 6 inches. Roanoke, Virginia, 4 to 8 inches. Charlottesville, Virginia, 4 to 8 inches. Winchester, Virginia, 8 to 12 inches in eastern Maryland and the eastern shore. Ocean City, Maryland, 10 to 14 inches with significant coastal erosion. Salisbury, Maryland, 10 to 14 inches. Easton, Maryland, 10 to 14 inches. Now, for some of the larger cities we need to hit in the rest of the Northeast corridor, Trenton, New Jersey, 14 to 18 inches. Camden, New Jersey, 14 to 18 inches. Vineland, New Jersey, 12 to 16 inches. Morristown, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Parsippany, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Hackensack, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. Paterson, New Jersey, 16 to 20 inches. In Connecticut, every major city is seeing significant accumulations. Middletown, Connecticut, 14 to 18 inches. New Britain, Connecticut, 14 to 18 inches. Meriden, Connecticut, 14 to 18 inches. Torrington, Connecticut, 12 to 16 inches. Shelton, Connecticut, 16 to 20 inches. Derby, Connecticut, 16 to 20 inches. Now let me circle back to the upper Midwest because there is a storyline developing there too. The lake effect snow machine around the Great Lakes is going to be running hard over the next several days. As cold air pours down from Canada across the relatively warm lake surfaces, snow bands will continue to develop, especially downwind of Lake Michigan, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. For Lake Michigan downwinders, that means heavy snowbelts will persist near the shores of northwest Indiana and southwest Michigan. Gary, Indiana, 4 to 8 inches of lake effect over the next 48 hours. Michigan City, Indiana, 6 to 10 inches. Benton Harbor, Michigan, 5 to 9 inches. For Lake Erie downwinders, Buffalo, New York is always in the crosshairs. Expect 4 to 8 inches of lake effect through Wednesday. The snowbelt south of Buffalo toward Arcade and Springville, New York could see 12 to 18 inches of lake effect accumulation through Wednesday. For Lake Ontario downwinders, Oswego, New York is one of the snowiest cities in America, and this week is no different. Expect 8 to 14 inches of lake effect through Wednesday. Watertown, New York, 8 to 12 inches. Now I need to address something important for people in the Pacific Northwest and California because while the East Coast is getting buried, you have your own storm to watch. A new system is coming ashore in the Pacific Northwest right now. Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, Bellingham, and the surrounding areas will see heavy rain and gusty winds today. The mountains above 3,500 feet will see significant snowfall accumulations, 1 to 3 feet in the Cascades. Stevens Pass and Snoqualmie Pass will see very difficult travel conditions Monday and Tuesday. Portland, Oregon, heavy rain and winds today. The Cascade passes like Mount Hood is Highway 26 will be very icy and snowy. Eugene, Oregon, 2 to 4 inches of valley snow possible at higher elevations on the edge of the Willamette Valley. This system slides into Northern California by Tuesday. Redding, California could see some mountain snow. Red Bluff, California, cold rain. Sacramento, California, light rain possible. San Francisco Bay Area, rain and wind possible midweek. The Sierra Nevada will see 1 to 2 feet of new snow from this system, which is great news for the snowpack that has been running below average this winter. Now back to what matters most right now for our friends living directly in the path of the blizzard. I want to make sure I have been crystal clear on timing for every major area, storm start times, peak conditions, and end times. Here is your final complete guide. Washington, D.C. Metro, including Northern Virginia and suburban Maryland, storm peaked overnight Sunday into early Monday morning, begin to wind down by early to mid-Monday afternoon, fully done by 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 8 to 14 inches. Baltimore Metro, same as D.C. Metro, winding down by midday Monday, done by early afternoon. Total snowfall 10 to 16 inches. Wilmington and Delaware, done by late Monday morning. Total snowfall 14 to 18 inches. Philadelphia Metro, done by 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 12 to 16 inches. Southern and central New Jersey, including Atlantic City, Trenton, Toms River, done by 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 14 to 22 inches depending on location. Northern New Jersey, including Newark, Jersey City, Hackensack, done by 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 18 to 24 inches. New York City, 5 boroughs, done by 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 18 to 24 inches. Long Island, done by 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 20 to 28 inches. Connecticut coast, including Stamford, Bridgeport, New Haven, done by 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 18 to 24 inches. Hartford, Connecticut, done by 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday. Total snowfall 14 to 18 inches. Providence, Rhode Island, and surrounding communities, done by midnight Monday to 1 a.m. Tuesday. Total snowfall 18 to 24 inches. Boston Metro, Cambridge, Somerville, Quincy, Brookline, done by midnight Monday to 2 a.m. Tuesday. Total snowfall 16 to 22 inches. Southeast Massachusetts from Brockton through Cape Cod, done by 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Tuesday. Total snowfall 20 to 28 inches. Southern New Hampshire, including Manchester, Nashua, Portsmouth, done by midnight Monday to 1 a.m. Tuesday. Total snowfall 10 to 16 inches. Southern Maine, including Portland, Lewiston, Auburn, done by early Tuesday morning around 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Total snowfall 14 to 20 inches. Central and northern Maine, including Bangor, Augusta, Bar Harbor, Eastport, the last region in the country to see this storm fully exit. Total snowfall 12 to 18 inches and still coming down Monday afternoon. If you are reading this anywhere between New York and Maine, you are living through history right now. The last time a blizzard of this magnitude struck this region was nearly a decade ago. This is one of those events that people will talk about for the rest of their lives. But here is the thing that really matters, and I want to make sure I leave you with this before we wrap up. The reason storms like this are so dangerous is not just the snow, it is the aftermath. Right now, over 300,000 people are without power. Some of those people are elderly. Some of them have medical equipment that needs electricity to function. Some of them are alone. When the snow stops, the real work begins. The recovery from a storm of this magnitude takes days, in some cases weeks. There are roads and neighborhoods in areas of New Jersey and Long Island right now that are completely inaccessible. Emergency crews cannot get in. That means if someone in those areas has a medical emergency right now, the response times are significantly longer than normal. Please look out for your neighbors. Please check on elderly family members. Please do not drive unless you have no other choice, because every car that gets stuck on a road is one more obstacle for a plow truck or an ambulance to get around. Do you know what is coming next? Because I just told you there are signals in the models for another potential winter weather event in the first week of March. And there is more to this pattern than I have even told you yet. The setup we are watching for the middle and end of March is something you need to see to believe. In my next video, I am going to break down the complete 2-week weather outlook, city by city, covering what the Euro model versus the American model are showing for that potential early March storm, and I am going to give you a complete look at the rest of winter and how this La Nina pattern has been driving the most active snow season in the Northeast in many years. Comment right now with your city and state. That is all I need from you, just your city and state, and I will make sure you get specific, detailed information in the next video. Whether you are in Boston or Charlotte or Chicago or Denver or Seattle, drop it in the comments below right now. The storm is active, the pattern is active, and this story is absolutely not over. Stay safe, stay warm, stay indoors if you are in the impacted zone, and do not miss what is coming next. Because based on what I am seeing in the models right now, the next 14 days of weather across the United States could be even more significant than what we are seeing today. That video drops very soon. Make sure you are ready for it.